if Deku had a demon quirk. Hey, this is gonna be the first video on this channel, and obviously it's gonna be what if Deku has had a demon quirk. What I'm going to entail as this is that he can control slightly fire first off. Eventually he might be able to control blue flames, and for demon's sake, he has basically super speed and super strength. He can use telekinesis on anything as long as it's not over 200 kg, and can make his own sword from nothing, but at the cost of some metal. And by the picture on the screen, he has wings, which means he can fly. So I'm gonna change one thing from the beginning of the anime, which is just obviously I'm gonna change this bit, but instead of the quirk doctor being I can't remember the name, but it's gonna be a different doctor that does it because of the all for one theory, to make it a little bit more sense. We'll just say it's a young-ish doctor that says his quirk is called demonic, and that, as I said before, explaining to Deku and Inko that his power is just the power of demons. And yeah, the first thing that happens is that Deku never gets bullied, and now in middle school, Deku and Bakugo are now rivals somewhat. And let's, I guess, start at close enough to the beginning of at the beginning of the anime, where Bakugo is bullying one kid and Deku tries to stop him. Instead of Deku being beat up, Deku's a lot more confident. In this, he's going to be really cocky, I guess. I don't think he's going to be as cocky as Bakugo, but the demon picture on the right, I guess, that's what he's going to be mainly looking like most of the time. Okay, so Deku would be standing there. He'd be a little bigger. He'd look more tough, I guess. Telling Bakugo to leave and stop bullying him, like basically the same way he does in the anime, just not stuttering or being afraid. Bakugo says that he wouldn't, and Deku instead of getting beat the crap out of, he charges at Bakugo, punches him straight in the stomach, sending him, I'm not gonna say sending him flying, but sending him to hit one of the walls close enough. The other two start to be afraid since he took down Bakugo and start running. Bakugo comes in with an explosion and knocks Deku out. Deku wakes up in the hospital saying he had a few burn marks, or the doctor saying he had a few burn marks. Deku then asks that what happened. This is really awkward for me. I'm probably gonna cut this bit out. Deku asks, "Why am I here?" And the doctor says that your friend accidentally used his quirk on you and knocked you out while you're protecting that other kid. Inko comes running in the room, not crying, but clearly upset that Deku got hurt. Now, I'm going to do a time skip because doing this bit's a bit weird, I guess. But skip to the bit where they're in middle school in the class. The teacher comes in saying, well, today we have to do the what you want to be in the future. And he says, what am I kidding? I know you all want to be heroes. Everyone starts using their quirks and everything, but Deku, instead of just putting his head down, he creates a fire in his hand and does what you would, well, acts like if he's juggling the fireball. The teacher quickly smacks him on the top of the head, saying, "No using fire in class." Bakugo does the same thing as he does in canon, by saying no one here other than him and Deku this time will be able to make it as heroes. All the other ones will be just lucky to be sidekicks to some delisted busters or whatever he says. Deku this time tells Bakugo, since they're rivals in this, he tells him to shut up. That anyone here could become a hero if they just try hard enough and train their body. Bakugo sits down angry, I guess, or pissed. And everyone starts, I guess, cheering. No, not cheering. I guess everyone starts thanking Deku a bit, even though in this he wouldn't have the nickname Deku. I don't think he'd have any nickname. Or what would, you know what? Yeah, you guys choose what nickname he would get. Because then it makes more sense, because I can't think of any. I was thinking Ryu, but that's more like if he had like a fire quirk, I guess. Well, he does have a fire quirk, but technically, in a way, since he can still use fire. But you tell me if you want to have the nickname still as Deku, but it just doesn't mean something that's worthless and useless, I think it was. It's been a while since I watched the first season and the first few chapters of the manga. But yeah. Now I'll skip to, I guess, when it's after class, Bakugo starts saying, "I'll see you at the UA entrance exam, you damn nerd." So in this, Deku will still be a bit of a nerd by taking notes down on everything, all the hero fights. That's not going to change. Now I guess I'll skip to when he's walking home. But because he has wings, he starts flying through. He can't fly very high, just so you know. He doesn't like get too much air pressure hitting him, so he flies down low to go home quick. The sludge monster still grabs him, but this time, instead of like engulfing him, grabs his wings and gets stuck. And because of Deku's speed, let's just say he's going around 200 miles an hour. Yeah, I think that should be fast enough. That's at his top speed, though. He might get faster in the future, though. He's going 200 miles an hour, so he literally cuts through the sludge villain, basically, when he grabs onto him. Deku realizes this, turns back, gets a little angry that he has sludge on one of his wings, and proceeds to pummel the sludge villain by sending multiple punches. And alright, I'm just gonna say his super strength is gonna be of what Deku would have in the canon. Let's just say 20%. All Might comes up from the sewer drain, poking his head through, seeing Deku blasting the sludge villain with punches as fast as All Might did it versus Nomu in the USJ arc. And then Deku he takes his hand back, engulfs his right hand in a blue fiery gauntlet, and this is the only times he's able to use blue fire since it's concentrated. He creates a blue fire from from his hands. It surrounds his arm, creating a gauntlet, as I said. Then he charges. He just charges up his super strength, I guess. Proceeds to punch the sludge villain once, and explodes him everywhere. All Might then pops up saying, "Ah, well done, young." And Deku says, "Midoriya. Izuku Midoriya." All Might proceeds to say, "Well done, young Midoriya. That was very clever." And Deku then realizes he's talking to All Might and starts geeking out. The same kind of as in canon. He asks All Might for his autograph. All Might says, "Of course, anything for a fan." And All Might is grinning because he sees that he's a huge nerd. When he signs his autograph, Deku asks if he can become a hero with a demonic quirk. All Might then asks, "What's your quirk, if you think it's demonic?" Deku proceeds to say, "My quirk is called demonic. I can create fire, I have super speed, and I have super strength. And as you can see, I have demon horns and a pair of wings, like hawks, just black." All Might says, "As the quirk doesn't make the hero makes the quirk. You can become a good hero with any quirk. Villainous, heroous, or that's not even a word, I don't think." But as All Might is then explaining, he starts to realize he's running out of time and says that he has to go. But he forgets to put the sludge villain in the bottle. Deku completely forgot. And the same kind of thing happens in canon as when All Might jumps away, Deku grabs onto his his leg. All Might then lands, saying that it was stupid of him to grab onto his leg. But Deku says that he doesn't know what to do with his quirk, if he should train it more to increase his strength, his super speed, and his fire, or he wants advice, basically. All Might just says, "Train your body and your mind, and eventually your quirk will get stronger. And obviously work on your quirk, too." All Might then proceeds to deflate into Small Might. Deku, being shocked and confused, is, as he is in canon, seeing if he's an imposter. And then starts to explain his injury with All For One 5 years ago. But this time, it's not as bad. Not all of his stomach and the respiratory system was ripped out. I'll just say half. So instead of having 3 hours a day, he has 6. And let's just say, he was chasing the sludge villain for about 6 hours. Only because the sludge villain was getting into the water and All Might didn't want to get his clothes dirty. So he punched the water instead. Obviously getting drenched in the process, so eventually he did get in the water, but yeah. Deku saying he'll keep it a secret. All Might thanking him. Sorry, I'm kind of gassy right now, in a way. Not farting wise, but yeah. But Deku then proceeds to walk home, happy since his idol said he can become a hero and how to train his quirk. And, told him to train his physical body. He hears explosions, thinking, "Oh, Bakugo got into another fight again, didn't he?" Deku proceeds to fly over, high this time because he just wants to see it, see if he should intervene or not. He sees it's the sludge villain, thinking, "Shit, I forgot to encase it in a bottle or something and give it to All Might." All Might also sees this, but is scared to do anything because his time limit is up. Deku flies down onto the field, visibly pissed since at himself and at the Sludge villain. The Sludge villain says, "No, not this kid, not again," and proceeds to take a whip, basically with the Sludge, to Deku. Deku, because he's pissed, can use his blue fire, which is the only times I'm going to allow him for now to use his blue fire. He proceeds to make a sword out of his blue fire. Not a sword that, he'd normally be able to make, because he has no metal on him. And also he can turn the swords back to metal, so that, he can make the same sword over and over again. When he creates the sword out of the fire, all the heroes are saying, "You're gonna hurt the kid." Deku says, "Shut up. None of you are real heroes. You're not doing shit about this." All of them being shaken by this, saying, them just being told that they're not real heroes. Some being more visibly angry than others. Deku scoffs at them, sends a shockwave towards them, not enough to blow them back, just enough to make them shut up. Deku proceeds to cut the Sludge villain's eye out, and because he's made us, I'm just gonna say his heart basically is in his eyes, and yeah. And I'm just gonna say that Bakugo then causes a massive explosion, so he can speak and says, "Deku, get me out of here! Don't hold back!" Deku smiles, creates his full fire armor. Yes, I'm gonna say he has full fire armor. Proceeds to walk, or basically use his super speed to go right up to the Sludge villain. Reels back his punch, punches at full strength, because before he was using basically half of his strength, let's say. He punches it once. The Sludge villain goes flying backwards, and Bakugo is now free, but collapses because, well, he's being strangled, so he kind of just collapses a little. He's not knocked out or anything, but he's on the ground. Deku proceeds to basically teleport, but, he doesn't teleport, he just uses his super speed to get right up to the villain, and flies up as high as he can, which I'll just say is about 30 to 40 feet high. Goes at his top speed, flying downwards, and punches the Sludge villain, and it splatters everywhere, he indents into the ground, or he doesn't fall, but his punch indents into the ground, and sends a shockwave up, not doing what All Might did, changing the weather, but moving the clouds apart. Everyone being shocked by this, since he's just a teenager, he then picks up Bakugo onto his back and says to all of them, none of you are real heroes. If any of you were real heroes, you would have helped, even if that meant dying. Heroes do the unnecessary. Heroes intervene when they don't need to." All Might getting inspiration from this is impressed, and yeah, you can probably guess where I'm going with this. But yeah, Deku flies Bakugo up, trying to get him to get scared from the height, so that he wakes up fully, which it works. But he drops him, and then picks him back up. They go to the ground. Bakugo says thank you. Since Bakugo is going to be a little nicer in this, not too much nicer. He's still a bit cocky, since he thinks he's still the best. But he still says thank you to Deku. He walks home. The same thing happens with Deku, that he's thinking how fun it's going to be to train for the 10 months before the UA entrance exam. And when he's walking home to the crossroads, same as in canon, All Might does the exact same thing. He explains about One for All and asks Deku, "Do you want my quirk, young Midoriya?" Deku, visibly shaken by all this, says, "But how can you pass on a quirk? It's not physically possible." All Might just says, "Don't think about the details for right now. I'll explain everything to you when you receive the quirk. So do you want it or not? You seem like the perfect candidate. The courage you showed back there, the bravery, it was inspiring. So, do you want my quirk or not?" So he says yes. Deku already has the body that he could get One for All and use roughly 10% of it, since, it would increase his super strength as well. So basically being 30% of One for All in canon off the bat if he was able to do full cowling. But, he can't yet. But he doesn't get the quirk. They start training for the 10 months the exact same way as in canon. I'll just skip towards the end when All Might comes the same in canon and gets surprised by Deku cleaning everything. But the thing that also shocks All Might is that Deku's standing perfectly still, shouting, just not feeling like he's gonna collapse. Then he engulfs his wings in in red fire, and sends the fire down through his wings into everything and disintegrates it all. All Might being impressed by this, since that's something he didn't know he could do, says the same thing as in canon. Sorry, I'm kind of tired. He says, "Holy super crap!" Or whatever he actually says. I think that's what he says anyway. Deku, visibly being tired after that, does the same as in canon, falls. All Might catching him, then, then All Might saying that it started with one person noticing he had the power to transfer quirks and a stockpiling quirk on top of that, and passed it on through the generations, creating powerful heroes. When it was eventually passed on to All Might, the 8th user of One for All. Deku, being excited, says, "So is today the day I'm gonna get One for All?" Also, there's still I think I forgot to say this, but there's still 1 month until the UA Entrance exam, because I want him to have 1 month to train with it. And, he's physically stronger anyway, so he would finish a little earlier. All Might gives him the quirk by, saying, "Eat this." Deku saying, "Eh? What?" But Deku eats it, and, well, by, the same as in canon, Deku stands in front of UA, just staring at it, saying, "Wow, I'm actually here." And that's where I'm going to leave it off for today. I think, probably next week is going to be the next episode. So, hope you enjoyed this. Well, peace out.